Good morning, my name is Simon. Together with my wife Kathy and our two dogs, we cruise the canals and rivers of England as continuous cruisers. Today we are setting off from Thorne. It's a visit we made slightly out of sequence, but I'll explain more about that later. I'm just going to go further down into the basin, turn around and head out on a return trajectory where we came to get to Thorne. Take off the chains. Right. No, they can stay down for the water point. There she goes, exercise for the day. Bow thrust. Until the nose is clear. And so we're just going to go down to the basin, wind on the corner. Try not to pick up too much debris in the water as we pull away from the land. It tends to collect against the back of the boat as there is a slight flow of water on this canal. This is the Stainforth and Keadby. It actually feeds water down to power station in Keadby. Contractually obligated to do so. So always a decent level of water in this canal, pretty well maintained. And so it has a slight flow, because at the top end it meets up with the New Junction Canal and the Don Navigations, which are actually fed in from the River Don. That's where it gets its water supply. But it's a glorious day. The sun is shining. It's still cold. This morning it was 3 degrees. So currently 12, so it's warming up nicely. When we walked the dogs this morning, we saw that there's a lockie on duty, so we'll just have to signal to him not to start opening the lock, which is just around this corner ahead. This is Stanley Marina on our left, Normally you can buy here diesel, have a pump out, moor your boat, have your boat blacked, painted. It's quite a big boatyard. It's got a chandlery with a fairly good selection of knickknacks, odds and ends and things you need, necessities. There's 2 dry docks, big enough to handle some of the older commercials, converted commercials. One is open air, it's on our left, and then there's an undercover one in front of us, the blue building with a black striped roof. That's a big indoor dry dock. Currently there is a historical boat in there. I'm not sure what it is, but it's big and riveted hull, and it's got a mast. So I would guess it was one of the Humber flats, possibly. These are all liverboard moorings on this marina. On the right hand side there's the normal moorings. People like us. This is where we walk to go into town. Upset somebody. 3 big supermarkets in the town, 4 big supermarkets, so shopping is easy. A little bit of a walk, but not too much. Sneak around the corner so the Lockie doesn't see us coming. It's wide enough here to turn without upsetting too many people. Somebody's dog is barking. There's Thorne lock ahead of us with a swing bridge. It's an electric lock, manual bridge. See how gracefully we can do this. Wife's giving us facing bow to the shore. Very technical. We've reversed off a little bit. Now we will swing her around. 380 degrees. And now we can carry on in this direction. First port to call is Stainforth, which is half the name of the canal. We have moored and eaten at the pub on a couple of occasions, but we will continue through there on to Bramwith, because once more we need to fill up with water and empty our toilets. After Bramwith, we may well continue a reverse course to what we were on previously. When we get to the T-junction after Bramwith Lock, we may well turn right and go back down New Junction and start heading towards Nottingley, Castleford and beyond, as we did before we did a U-turn to tow a friend of ours from Castleford here to Thorne. His engine's blown up, so he's got no forward movement or anything, and he's been stuck now for a couple of months. So when we saw him in Castleford and got chatting, decided, you know what, that's what boaters do, we help each other out. And the bloke was pretty resigned to his fate, but anyway, so we paralleled the boats up, tied them side by side, and 2 days from Castleford to Thorne. I think it was 6 locks and 7 swing bridges. And also, of course, dragging along a second boat. It's quite a slow process. And it adds some challenges to the handling of them. When you come to do a turn like we've just done, it's not quite straightforward, and also even something as simple as putting the engine in reverse to slow the boat down. It creates quite an exciting momentum. So the boat we towed in is on the left, green one. Now you'll sit here until the boatyard notify him they've got his new engine, at which time they'll tow him down, change the engine, and I hope he can get back to his cruising lifestyle. Certainly an interesting chapter in our story. So it's not much fun without an engine, because A, you don't have propulsion, so you can't move. So all of your services, your water and everything, you have to trolley. And also you've got no generation of electricity, so you end up having a generator which you have to run. And then of course you have to fetch the petrol for your generator. So yeah, not a comfortable situation to be in. We had arranged with the boatyard to tow him, but it just seemed easier for us to do it. There was no date for the boatyard to fetch him. Nice couple with their 2 dogs. This is also quite a wide canal, but not to the degree of the Aire and Calder new junction. But if you carry on through Thorne down to Keedby, where the power station is that this supplies the water to, you go through a lock down onto the River Trent. We did it 2 years ago. River Trent is tidal, so there are only specific times that it's recommended you travel on it, so that you are going with the tide rather than against the tide, because these boats tend to be a little bit underpowered for running into a tide. And it's quite a fast flowing river when the tide's moving, so going into locks which are at 90 degrees to the flow of the river offers some interesting sport, and can lead to the bumping of the boat and removal of some of your precious paint. And so we've done it, not the full length of it, because we only went down as far as Lincoln, and we did Chesterfield, so that's partial distance. At Keedby, if that's how you turn right. If you turn left on the River Trent at Keedby, turn port, you go up to the Humber Estuary, and you can go around that way to Goole. But that's normally an overnight stop where you have to moor your boat up on a sandbank to wait for the following tide. And it's recommended, if you're new on the river, you have a pilot. Morning. So that adds to the adventure. When we were towing the boat from Keedby, I didn't film any of it. I didn't feel comfortable that the gentleman that I was towing would want us recording the whole thing, so it was just easier. But we did it in two 7-hour sections. Keeping your focus and fighting the tiller slightly, because obviously the dead boat is a drag, so it's pulling that way all the time. It's quite tiring. This is definitely spring now. Trees are all green. The sun is shining. Minimal wind. Although amazingly enough, tonight they're forecasting thunderstorms, so that will be another one to see if it happens. We have been in several thunderstorms, which compared with the high felt of South Africa are really tame. A little bit of a rumble, a couple of flashes, nothing substantial. But there's always a first time. Climate change, maybe it's coming. Way ahead. Crisscrosses the canals quite a lot. It's actually the road we travel if we go from this area back to Pudsey, stay with the children. Another boat coming. Hopefully it's seen us. Today is the start of a bank holiday weekend, as they call them in the UK. So it's a long weekend. It may be that it gets quite busy. People like to come out, especially if the weather stays as it is. People come out on their boats for the weekend. Knock our aerial on the tree. There we go. All is good and well. Morning. That's first one of the day. Going under the M18. Constantly being cleaned to remove the graffiti. It's a bit of a ongoing battle. Sometimes the graffiti is magnificent, so then you can call it art. And most of the time it's just some mess sprayed on the walls.